Hello learners, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the second chapter of history in ninth standard Maharashtra State Board, and the chapter name is India Events After 1960. In this lesson, we are going to study about the different events that occurred in India after the 1960, and we will get a deep information about what are the events and what are the leadership of India have done their achievements and what are the constitutional right we got and how the independent came in India. That information we are going to study in this chapter. So let us discuss information. India became independent in 1947 CE. As we know that India became an independence and got independence in 1947 CE. India accepted the constitutional framework in 1950 and became a sovereign democratic nation. Democratic nation means the people coming in a unity form and they are having a democratic nation as a one. But our constitutional or a constitution came in India and in the year of 1950. The Indian society is a multicultural and people of various languages, religious, ethnicities and caste live together. So people are coming from multicultural areas or multicultural states of different languages. We also have a different religions, we have a different caste, but we are living together in a country of India. During the initial period after independence, India need to solve different issues of economics. So after the independence period, we were having some initial period, but we have to solve some of the problems that were occurring in India, and we were having a different issues also. Issues of like economic, there was the economic inflation in India. We were not having a good money, and we were having an inflation in those time. Political and social development. So the society was not greatly developed, and the political parties were not having a great thinking of how to get the benefit from the peoples. That was the lacking of India. The establishment of the Planning Commission and emphasis on industrialization was a means to achieve economic development and to eliminate poverty in India. So there was a people or there was a leadership who made a planning commission. They emphasizes, they work on that, and they have made the industrialization more economic development. So because of the industrialization, people will have a good economic impact on our country and they will have a good poverty in India. So they will reduce the poorness of the people in India who are living. Successful conduct of elections and faith in democratic traditions made it possible for us to achieve political stability. So how you will achieve the political stability? When the people will have a faith in you. If people are having faith in you, they will form a democracy. The democracy will come together and they will have a good faith in the good leaders. Like there will be a good elections. If the good elections are handling, people will also give a support to the specific person who belongs to the political party. At the same time, several social reforms, including policies and programs for the weaker section of the society, were sought to be implemented. So at the time of several social reform means in the society some of the changes took place in the policies, where the policies were made and the programs were made of the weaker section. They were get some of the food they were getting, and some of the good implemented of the weaker section. People belong to the scheduled caste, OBC, ST, they got a benefit because of that achievements of political party. In the year 1960, so what happened in the event of 1960s, we will see. In the decade of the 1960s, several events occurred which had a huge impact on the political situation in India. Means in 1960, we had a huge impact. Means there was something wrong going in India because of the political situation. Why? Because we have a different political party in our country, like BJP, Congress, Rashtravadi Congress. So these are the different political parties, but their agenda and their ideology are totally different because the thinking are different. The regions of Goa, Diu and Daman were freed from Portuguese rule and became part of an India Federation. So Goa, Diu and Daman was under the Portuguese rules. Portuguese people were ruling in those states. Why? Because there was no people who were looking after them. So these Portuguese were ruling. But when they become a free from the Portuguese, that part became the Federation of India. Means people of India were there on that regions and they were ruling to that state. The tension between India and China on the northern border, which had been rising in 1950s. So in 1950, there was a big tension or big problems were occurring between India and China. We also had a war in 1962 between China and India. This war was fought in the region of the McMahon line. So the war The name of that war is given as a McMahon Line between India and China in the year 1962. After India After India became independent, Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru led the country. So after independence, India got independence. First Prime Minister was Pandit Jawaharlal, and he led the country. He was the architect of Indian foreign policy. So he was also called as the architect of Indian foreign policy. So he was looking the internal affairs of foreign policy. His contribution to the social and economic development in India was significant. So he was made a good contribution, or he was made a good development of social and economic of India. Economic means dealing with import export of business, doing the monies in transaction of India. Social, the people who are living in society, there should be equal treatment between upper class and lower class. So he made a good significant of India. Jawaharlal Nehru passed away in 1964. So he died in the year of 1964. So Lal Bahadur Shastri succeeded him and became the next Prime Minister of India. So after Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Lal Bahadur Shastri became the Prime Minister of India. During his tenure, India and Pakistan went to war over the Kashmir issue in 1965. So India and Pakistan were also having a war because of the Kashmir. So they were fighting with each other. The Soviet Union tried to mediate between these two countries. So Soviet Union means it is the Russia. Name of the country is Russia. He also interfered between these countries. Lal Bahadur Shastri gave the slogan Jai Jawan Jai Kisan. So as you all know that this is a slogan of Lal Bahadur Shastri, that if we want to encourage a newcomer or new citizen of India, we should have a good slogan, Jai Jawan Jai Kisan. That was a slogan written by Bahadur Shastri, with which they highlighted the importance of Indian soldier and Indian farmers. So because of this Jai Jawan Jai Kisan, the people got the importance of soldiers and Indian farmers. Lal Bahadur Shastri breathed his last at Tashkent in 1966. So Lal Bahadur Shastri died in 1966 at Tashkent. So he died in the Tashkent. Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India in 1966. So after that died of Lal Bahadur Shastri, Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India in the year 1966. During her tenure, Pakistan oppressive policies East Pakistan resulted in a big movement there. So he was having a oppressive policies in the East Pakistan. That was a big movement he has to challenge. She has to tackle after the Lal Bahadur Shastri. This movement was led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and his organization. So that was the movement which the Pakistan was leading, and the person who was leading that organization was Mujibur Rahman. Mukti Bahini. This crisis in East Pakistan affected India as well. So that was the movement done by the Pakistan, and that was a great affected by India, because millions of refugees came to India. So from the Pakistan people, the refugee who was to give the information from one country to another country, that refugee was entered into India, and that was a great effect to India. We'll see the 1970s. What are the events took place in 1970s? The 1971, the war between India and Pakistan led to the creation of an independent country called Bangladesh. So Bangladesh was also having a problem to create an independent country, and between India and Pakistan, the Bangladesh was a major country, or the state, or not state, it's a country having a problem. So this Pakistani people were saying that that Bangladesh should be in our regions, but because of the war and they gave up to India, Bangladesh was concluded into the India's country. As a part of India policy to the atomic energy for peaceful purposes. So atomic energy was the peaceful purposes as a part from India policy. India successfully carried out an underground test of an atomic devices at Pokhran in Rajasthan. So they were having some weapons to fight with the Pakistans. In 1975, the people of Sikkim voted for joining the Indian Republic, and Sikkim became a full-fledged state in India federations. During this decade, the political situation in India grew unstable. So that was the critical situation that India was having in their life. The Allahabad High Court gave the verdict that 1974 that Indira Gandhi, then the Prime Minister, had misused the government machinery during her elections campaign. So he was having some charge. There was some case filed in the Allahabad High Court against Indira Gandhi in the year 1974 because of the misuse of some of the machinery or the weapon they used in the some of the these fights. So that was a case against Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister of India. It led to nationwide strikers and protest. That was a big strike, and nationwide was concluded where the people were on the strikes. During this period, the situation became more complicated due to the movement of led Jay Prakash Narayan. So he was the person who took the movement to help the Indira Gandhi to come out from that cases which was allegated by the court. The situation of law and order in the country worsened, and the government declared a state of national emergency on the basis of constitutional provision relating to the emergency. So the people or the government had declared emergency in the India, in the country, because of that situation, because people were on the road, they were harming the people, and they were having a great impact, and there were many misuse happened in the country. So because of that, what happened, they have declared the alert in India, and because of the constitutional provision. So constitution gave that provision that we should have a emergency, national emergency in the state. During this turbulent period, the fundamental rights of Indian citizen was suspended. So because of this case, or because of this constitutional provision, because of this emergency declared, the fundamental of the citizen was suspended. They were not getting any rights from the government. Due to the emergency, the Indian administration became indisciplined. Discipline means the administration was not in the proper discipline. They were not giving any rights to the people. They were not having a great impact to the peoples. The period of national emergency lasted from 1975 to 1977. So this was the two year they were having a problem in India. But because of the general election conducted, they got a good response from the government. On the backdrop of the emergency, many opposition parties came together and formed a party called the Janata Party. We also called a Bharatiya Janata Party, that is a BJP. Because of that emergency, new party formed, and they were having different ideology that how we should tackle the India. Morarji Desai became the prime minister, so he also became a prime minister of India. But under his leadership, the Janata Party government could not last long due to internal differences. Because of the internal differences, that party was not in a country, and that party was not got a proper agenda, and they were not in a leadership. Charan Singh succeeded him, but even his government was a short-lived one, so they were not having a proper success in a country, so their government was backside. Elections were conducted once again in 1980, and the Congress party under the leadership of Indira Gandhi came to power again. So because of in the year 1980, they had again elections, and who win that elections in the year 1980? Congress party, and again they came to the power of India, and BJP were not there in those time actually.